For some difficult small dogs, using a leash isn't going to give you enough support to actually pick the dog up. In those cases, you might use a towel instead. The size towel you use depends on the dog. So for instance, for this dog, I'm going to use this size towel. This is just a towel that's folded over. And for a smaller dog, I'm going to use a smaller towel, such as this. As with all exercises, it's important to first practice on a stuffed dog. I'm going to start by taking the towel and putting it around the neck while keeping my hands far away from the dog's mouth. Then as soon as I have the towel around the dog's neck, I'm going to twist. So if the towel is right behind the head and I twist, then I'm going to create enough bulk so it's difficult for the dog to turn its head. Once you get this on the stuffed animal, make sure that you practice enough on friendly dogs of different sizes and practice twisting the towel in different directions until you feel which direction gives you the most support. From here, I can easily pick up the dog and control its head at the same time. Let's see that again. Now we'll look at 5 methods for controlling movement of the rear end. I'll first run through them quickly, and then I'll go through them in more detail. While I do this, I'm going to control the front end just by holding the collar. I'm going to start by going through the first 4, and then later I'll cover the 5th one, which involves a towel. The first one is just with your hand behind the rear. The second method is your arm behind the rear. The third is your arm above the rear end and back. And the fourth is your hand under the belly. Again, the first is hand behind the rear. Second is arm behind the rear. Third is arm above the rear and back. And the fourth is the hand under the belly. And then the 5th one is the towel around the abdomen. Like so. Now we'll look at 7 methods for controlling movement of the front end. I'm going to run through these methods quickly at first, and then I'm going to cover them in more detail. While I do this, I'm going to control the rear end with one of the holds that we just practiced. I'll start with the first 6, and then I'll cover the last one, which involves a towel at the end. The first one is the U hold. The second one is the arm hold. The third one is the collar hold. The fourth one is the ring hold. The 5th one is the proximal leg hold. And then the last one is the C hold. I'll do that again. The first one is the U hold. The second one is the arm hold. The third one is the collar hold. The fourth one is the ring hold. The 5th one is the proximal leg hold. And then the last one is the C hold. And then the 7th hold is the towel wrap. This is the same towel wrap that we learned when we were learning to pick up a dog with a towel. For a refresher on So far we've worked on being able to walk dogs from place to place and then be able to stop them where you need to stop them. And then we've also worked on being able to use minimal restraint to have them examined at a stand or a sit. And we talked about how you need to get them stationary first, and then you change your body position, and then you put on the restraint hold. So what do we do if we actually want to get blood? Well, we talked about how to do that head hold, but we didn't talk about how are we going to actually be in position for the blood draws. And there's a number of different ways we can get blood, and so we want to know all the different ways because we don't know which way is going to work the best for the particular dog we have. So one thing that we can do for a lot of dogs that are very wiggly or they just are afraid of having their blood drawn. We can often put them against a wall. Actually, I'm going to walk the dog right up against the wall here. Oops, let me stop you here. And then from here, I'm going to have Margarita actually. I'm going to have Margarita come up here. I'm going to get a treat too. So I'm going to walk right up here and then get the dog positioned. This is for dogs that are, you might have to work a little bit to get them right up here, but this is a good way to get dogs that just don't feel comfortable with having you up at their face. So we could get the hind leg right here. So I'm holding the dog against the wall, so I've got the lateral movement controlled, left and right. My body can be against the dog. I can hold off the vein here. My head is away from the dog. And if we want to, we can have a second person come up here and just give treats. So if I have her here stationary, Lauren probably would not want to be right in front of an aggressive dog like this. So you probably would not stand right in front of an aggressive dog. You could be sideways. You could even be, yes, or you could even be facing that way too. Other hand. Turn all the way facing with your back to the dog. Over this way. If the dog's aggressive, it would be better that the dog, that you're not scaring the dog. So you could be completely sideways. She could even just be up here. You want to kind of look at the dog and see how the dog responds to you. And then from here, hey, this dog is just getting peanut butter. And she's holding it up to his face, or her face, so that she's not moving all over. Because if she held it out here, then I'd have a dog that was trying to leap forward while we were doing things. So she's holding it up right up to the face. And then I could hold off here, and then somebody else could take blood right here. So Margarita, you could come up. And from here, Margarita would be able to take blood. And the traditional way we take blood is going to be from the front leg. Like most people will want to. I'm going to actually have her sit against a wall. So you would often do this on a table because it's easier, the height is easier. But from here, on the floor, it's kind of difficult to restrain because you can't get your body right up against the dog. But I just want to show you the different hold. This is not I don't have a ton of control right here. So this hold I'm going to use for a dog that just feels, again, it's all about finding whatever the dog feels comfortable with. So I have her head, and I can hold this leg out, and Margarita can come up and actually take the blood. So I can hold her leg off and out from this position. It's not the strongest hold again. It would be better on a table because from this position, I'm not really that stable. But I have her against the wall. She can't bite because I'm holding her head, and she's comfortable enough. Okay, that's good. I'm going to show you. And again, if you have a dog on a gentle leader, you have much more control. If your dog has a collar on, you have much more control because you can pull right up here for a real collar. For here, what I'm going to do, make sure you don't put your head like that. Keep your head up. So she's against the wall. I have a leg on each side. Look at how I'm forming a mold around her, so I didn't go like that. It's like this. Then I want to massage her so she feels comfortable. And I don't want to go like that. You want their head at a comfortable angle. Your hands, you're doing this. I'm still controlling the leash. The leash is tight. And then I can just hold like this. And then I can like, look, wiggle, wiggle. Yes. So Margarita, you want to show? And remember, this is all about keeping the dog comfortable. So I'm not putting a death grip on her, I'm just making it clear, hey, this is how I want you to hold. And if there's a collar here, then when I'm pulling up on the collar, that gives added support around her head. if for some dogs, again, so the very last thing we're going to do is getting a dog from standing to lateral. Because this is the one where people tend to do a karate or judo throw, and the dog bonks its head. So the important thing is we need to have the dog feel like he's supported the whole time, but we need to control the dog enough so we don't get bitten also. So what we're going to do on this is the head hold is the same that we did. It's either this or this. And we're going to take our inner arms. They're going to go over, and they're going to hold the leg. So your thumbs are down. We're going to hold the leg around the wrist area or a little bit higher, and this arm needs to be straight. Then your outer hand will be here, so it's below the hock, but above where the ankle would be. I'm sorry, where the you'll see where the paw is. So what we're going to have to do is raise up and then slide the dog down. So that's what it looks like together, and I'm going to show you the head part later because that's the hard part. So we're going to keep our arms straight, because if you bend your arms, then the legs can kick all over. So you're going to keep the arms straight. Again, inner hand, so you got yours right. So we're going to lift and then slide the dog down. You need to lift, because if you don't lift, you're not going to be able to move the dog's feet. The feet are just going to stick. Okay, standing up again. Again, one more time. It's going to be lift. And then slide the dog down. Okay, so that is straightforward. It turns out that the hard part is the shoulder part. So what you want to do is first practice that lift, and then slide down, and then after that, worry about the shoulder. So what's going to happen with the shoulder is that I need to lift, and as I move down, the only way I control the dog is to keep my shoulder above his neck. So my shoulder needs to be, as he's sliding down, on the top of his neck, which means I have to physically push my shoulder out like this. So my shoulder has to be on top and follow all the way down. Okay, so then, what does that mean? So if I put this here, it's going to look like this. I lift up. Now here, if I stick my elbow out, there's no way that I can do anything with my arm. So you need to relax enough. You don't want to put a death grip on the neck, because if you squeeze the neck and try to twist, then the dog is going to scream and try to escape. So I need to raise up. And then my elbow has to go backwards. So I'm going to raise up. My elbow goes backwards all the way down.